It's your girl Isha,
And it's your girl Sweetie.
So in this video, we'll be telling you guys the steps in finding formula mass and percent composition of a certain compound.
To start, let's know about what is a formula mass.
The formula mass is the sum of all mass numbers of the atoms that make up the compound.
And here are its steps. The first step is to write the elements involved.
The second step, identify all the number of atoms in each element.
The third step is to multiply the atoms to the element's atomic mass to get the total atomic mass.
And lastly, add all atomic masses of each element to get the formula mass. So as we've already known the steps in finding the formula mass, let's apply this by using the chemical compound HgSO4 or the mercury sulfate.
So the first step is to write the elements involved. So in mercury sulfate, we've got mercury, sulfur, and oxygen.
So for the second step, identify the number of atoms in each element. So for the mercury, we've got 1, for the sulfur, we've got 1, and for the oxygen, we've got 4.
So the third step is to multiply the atoms to the element's atomic mass to get the total atomic mass. For the mercury, we've got 1 times 201 is equals to 201. In sulfur, we've got 1 times 32 is equals to 32. And for the oxygen, we have 4 times 16 is equals to 64.
And last step, we've got add all of them to get the formula mass. So 201 plus 32 plus 64 is equals to 297 grams as our formula mass. Now that we have computed the formula mass, we can now compute for the percent composition.
But before we proceed in the steps or calculating the percent composition, let us know first what is a percent composition.
Percent composition is finding the percent by mass of each element in a compound using the periodic table.
Here are the steps in finding the percent composition. The first step is to solve for the formula mass.
Second step, divide the mass of each element by the total mass of the sample.
The third step is to multiply each by 100.
And lastly, compute each to get the percent composition.
Now let's move on to computing for percent composition.
We'll be also using the compound HgSO4, the mercury sulfate, as its formula mass has been computed.
So the first step is to solve the formula mass. In mercury sulfate, we've got 297 grams.
Second step, divide the mass of each element by the total mass of the sample. So for the mercury, 201 divided by 297. For the sulfur, 32 divided by 297. And for the oxygen, 64 divided by 297.
Third step is to multiply each by 100. For mercury, we have 201 divided by 297 times 100. In sulfur, we've got 32 divided by 297 times 100. In oxygen, we have 64 divided by 297 times 100.
Lastly, compute each to get the percent composition. So the total for mercury is 67.68%, the total for sulfur is 10.77%, and the total for oxygen is 21.55%. Therefore, there is 67.68% mercury,
there is 10.77% sulfur,
and there is 21.55% oxygen in the compound mercury sulfate.